Well, at the conclusion of last week's video, I was talking about visiting with the owner on what we're going to do with the remnants of this body and the sideboards, bench seats, all this type of stuff. Well, he did stop by and we had a good visit about it. And we visited about the transition that it went through over different periods of time. If this was made in 1890-ish area, and we have wheels somewhere in the mid-30s, somewhere along the line this has gone through multiple different phases and repairs. So the question is, what era do we take it back to? Do we try to pick the 50s or the 30s or the 20s or the teens? Or do we go back to the 1890 era and say, well, this is what we speculate it was like when it was new. Maybe we should go back there. That's kind of where we landed at. So the goal is to preserve what this was like, probably in its new phases, because we're going to put a wood gear back underneath it. So anyway, this brought up a number of questions. What do we do with the wood that we have? Well, this left side panel, as we all know by now, went through some damage as it was sitting on this rubber tired gear and broke out this whole panel here. So it really minimizes the amount that is salvageable on this end of this left side board. But closer to the front, we have some sections here that are a little more usable, even though there are some splits and cracks in it. We're a little more intact. This is the evidence where there was a box on the left side that is missing, and it was painted around that box whenever it was painted. This bench is a little better condition, but this is the underneath side of the bench. The top side that has been exposed to the weather elements is totally gray. But these panels here are more usable, so do we put it back as a bench? And this board that was on the right side is weathered gray on both sides. So evidently this was sitting for a long period of time facing the sun or the weather to where it is all faded and pretty much gone. So bottom line, where we ended up was to preserve these boards that have the original paint on them, but not necessarily in their original position. I really can't take this board and try to adapt it into here because of these mounting holes and these nails. It just isn't going to line up with the side iron holes, so it makes that kind of a non-option. But if I patch this bench and put it back on the bench, which is possible, actually this original paint gets hidden because it's underneath. So we talked about the goal is to preserve and make visible what is original here. So my suggestion, and he was agreeable to this, that we take these boards which have the best amount of original paint and put them into the side boxes, rear tailgate, to where this wood becomes exposed instead of hidden underneath. On the inside of these sideboards are a number of cleats that need to be replaced, and we can take some of this original paint wood and make new cleats and have that old original paint visible. So the goal in his mind is, even though this is going to be a static display, when it is on display in whichever museum he puts it into, he would like it solid and safe enough that people can go inside this sheep wagon and look at the stove and the kitchen cabinet and the bed and open the cupboard doors and all this type of stuff. So we need this to be safe enough for the public to get in. So that was a combination of these different factors that we can save this original wood in the pieces and amount that we can, make them visible. They'll be in the wagon, they'll just be in a different position. That allows us to use some of this old wood, reposition it, show what was portions of this wagon. Like I said, it'll be just repositioned, and then I can put new wood on the sides and benches and make this structurally sound, go through the antiquing process and make it look old, and try to blend it in with some of this other wood that we're going to incorporate into it as well. So when I ended last week's video, I had the floorboards laid out, and I started to use some of the old framework underneath, and I measured out the position of the nails and tried to re-nail this in the same position as the old original ones. The old original ones are no good, so I've got to replace those and try to get this going back in the positive direction. Well, when I brought in this sheep wagon off of the ranch initially, and my assessment of it, this is kind of where I was thinking we were going to go to some degree. I figured we needed a new sides, benches, and we need end walls. Past that, how much are we going to save? Well, we kind of have a feel for that. So I had already picked up some 12-foot poplar, and this is 4/4, and I'm going to plane it down to the 13/16 to make the sides and benches. The end walls, I'm not quite sure yet. I have some old siding that's a lap siding that looks like it's the same style and size as what was in the front. The back is pretty much gone, but the front will be an indication of what the back once was. So I'm going to put these boards together and just get our rough stock ready to start sizing. I need 19¼ inches for the sideboards. I need 18¼ inch boards for the bench seats, and I have enough here that I can accomplish that. So since part of our goal is to make this look older and have that aged look to it, I'm going to take this sander and knock off some of these sharp corners, especially on this floorboard in front of where the door will be, because that probably was worn off just from traffic in and out. The back I expect will be the same. This side may not be quite as much because there's a solid panel here. And these frames, I'm going to take some of these real sharp corners off. The middle one doesn't seem to indicate a lot of wear out here past this step board, but I'm going to take this and just round this off a little bit so it doesn't have this nice crisp new look to it. This looks like it actually has a little wear here, but it's probably from being drug on the ground or who knows. But underneath this step plate, these edges here were probably left pretty sharp because this board here would have protected that, so I'll leave that. But just take off this brand new look. So with this rear tailgate being on a hinge, and they were probably storing feed up inside, I'm guessing this was probably pretty worn off from being pretty constantly used. Now these side irons that hold the side, many of these sheep wagons, this iron is on the outside. This one happens to be on the inside of the sideboards. So I'm going to use a 13/16 as my gauge because that's what I'm going to take my sideboards down to. Kind of give me a visual of where that hole needs to go on the inside. These are 1/2 inch bolts. So I'll probably drill this as a 1/2 inch now. I'll probably open them up to a strong half, closer to a 9/16, but I do that actually with a hot rod. Goes through and sears it and actually helps seal that hole as well. So I'm not even close to putting my sideboards on yet. I just need a way to pick this up. I'm just going to tie a knot in this side here. So before I get too far ahead of myself, I've got some vinegar metal filing solution here that I'm going to antique this. It'll kind of give it a gray look, especially on this ash. Now it's easy to get to the bottom side. Once I start putting sides on it, it gets a little more difficult. So I'm just going to soak it down with this solution and see if we can't make it look a little older. You can see where this ash is already starting to look old. So I let this vinegar and metal filing set overnight. Then I filtered it off through a paint strainer. And I have it about 2/3 the vinegar solution and 1/3 water. If it doesn't do it quite as dark as I like, I'll just go straight vinegar solution. So this is a new piece of flooring that I made for that outside 13th piece, and it's all fresh. You can see it's starting to turn gray. This ash is turning gray. This old original flooring that came out of the house, it's darkening up. Part of that is just because it's wet. It may have enough age on it. I don't know if it'll have the same effect, but it's underneath. I want all this stuff to be grayed as well. You see where there's a little bit of overspray, how this fresh dug fir is darkening up and turning gray as well. This didn't get any solution on it, so you can see the effect that the vinegar solution is having on this fresh wood. So seeing this overspray effect here, maybe I should just go ahead and do the whole thing. Kind of try to make it as uniform as possible. I was only going to do the underneath side, but I'm thinking maybe I'll do the whole thing here. That might make it the most uniform. I like to get it pretty uniform wet. Then it's just a process of letting it dry. And through that whole time frame, it will do its thing. And the underneath side, it's had a little more time to work. It's looking distinctly older. Through all this, it's just kind of a process of hurry up and wait, kind of like watching paint dry. So this is where we're going to let her set. I got the boards that I've glued up for the sides and the benches. They are curing. I'll let this dry and kind of watch it and see what we get. Appreciate you following along. Thanks for watching.